Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Josh and this is your stimulus check update for Tuesday, July 7th. I hope everyone is off to a great start to their week so far. In this video, I'll be discussing the first and second round of stimulus checks, including more of what the Democrats and Republicans are debating about in the second round of stimulus checks. I'll also be discussing the EIDL grant, and then I'll be wrapping up this video by answering some of the comments and questions that I received in my previous video. But first, if you wouldn't mind real quickly liking this video, giving me a big thumbs up, it really just helps with the YouTube algorithm in terms of pushing this video out to other viewers like you, and hopefully helping other people like you as well. Also, leave a comment in the comment section below letting me know whether or not you received your first stimulus payment, because unfortunately there are still people out there who haven't even received their first stimulus payment yet, even though we're already talking about a second round of stimulus checks. Okay, so I just wanted to start this video out by talking about fraud centered around these stimulus checks. Yes, even more fraud in this world, exactly what we needed. I just wanted to put out a quick reminder that the IRS will absolutely not contact you in any shape or form. They will not be emailing you, texting you, and they certainly won't be messaging you on social media via Facebook about your stimulus payment. So if you receive any type of message from the supposed IRS that include things such as links where you're supposed to claim your stimulus check, then just ignore those messages and simply delete them. Also, if anyone is demanding money for you to receive your stimulus check, then that is fraud also, so you should just ignore them as well. You do not have to pay anyone or do anything to receive your stimulus check. And even though this may seem extremely obvious to a lot of you guys, believe it or not, unfortunately there are still lots of people being frauded every single day, and I definitely do not want to see anyone losing money or getting frauded out of receiving these stimulus checks. All right, moving right along to some first stimulus check updates. If you haven't yet received your first stimulus payment, then you're definitely not alone as mentioned. Unfortunately, there are still millions of people who haven't even received their first round of stimulus payments. Now, the next wave of direct deposits are set to go out tomorrow on Wednesday, July 8th. So if you haven't been checking the payment portal within the last week or so, I would encourage you to do so. You may also have a payment date of July 8th as well. And if you do, let me know in the comment section below. Also, even if you're still getting the error message of payment status not available, again, that does not mean that you're ineligible for your payment. It just means that you have not yet been scheduled a delivery date. And even if you're getting that message, I would still encourage you to check your bank accounts tomorrow. Even though it is extremely rare, there are certain cases of people where they're not seeing an update in their payment status through the payment portal. Yet whenever they go to check their bank account, they still receive the payment. So in rare cases, the payment portal never updates, but then they still receive their direct deposit. Okay, so I also have some very exciting news for expats living abroad outside the United States. The IRS recently made an announcement saying they are expected to deliver these stimulus checks via direct deposit no later than July 24th. So if you have a US-based bank, you should receive your stimulus payment no later than July 24th. Now, if you do not have a US-based bank, if you have a non-US-based bank, then unfortunately the IRS is not going to be able to deliver your stimulus check via direct deposit, and they're going to have to be mailing you a check instead. However, they will be mailing you the check no later than July 24th, so I would expect that check probably to be delivered wherever you currently live abroad. I would hope no later than September. So all in all, this is very good news. Many Social Security beneficiaries who are living abroad have been waiting a very long time to receive their stimulus payment. So I'm very happy that we finally are receiving some type of payment deadline as far as these stimulus checks go. Okay, let's move on to the second stimulus checks. And yes, the Senate right now is on recess and they won't be returning to Washington until July 20th. But that does not mean they can't be thinking of some of the ideas of what will be in the next stimulus bill while they are on their 2-week recess. So between now and July 20th, even though the Senate is on recess, we should be hearing a lot of news and developments from some of the senators' thoughts on what should be in the next stimulus bill. As mentioned in yesterday's video, some of the things they are most likely to include in the next stimulus package include things such as stimulus checks, unemployment insurance or back to work bonuses, state and local government aid, small business relief, payroll tax cuts, liability protections, and tourism tax breaks. In yesterday's video, we touched on unemployment and how the Democrats want to extend the $600 federal unemployment boost for 6 more months, whereas the Senate Republicans feel that extending the $600 federal boost to unemployment could potentially provide a disincentive to return to work, being that some people who were receiving unemployment were actually receiving more money on unemployment than they were actually working at their jobs. So basically, rather than extending the unemployment boost, the Republicans are instead wanting to encourage people to go back to work by actually paying them to go back to work. So we have all seen both sides of that argument. As far as the workforce goes, Mitch McConnell also wants liability protections to be in the next stimulus package. With businesses finally opening back up, but during a pandemic no less, he wants to protect these businesses, these employers, from being potentially sued by their employees or even their customers. So let's say, for an example, an employee returns to work and they end up contracting the virus and they end up dying from that virus. Now, in some cases, the family of that victim could actually go back and sue the employer for failing to protect their employee. Mitch McConnell wants to protect these employers from being sued by the victims of the family. And examples just like the one that I gave are already popping up. Recently, an employee of Walmart died of symptoms of the virus, so now that family is trying to go back and sue the employer for not protecting them. They're claiming that Walmart ignored their child's symptoms and that they also did not let the colleagues of their child know that their child had also contracted the virus. Now, Democrats in large part are completely opposed to this provision, feeling that it's not going to be protecting workers. I don't think at this time with the virus that there's any interest in having any less protection for our workers, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi noted. Of course, even if liability protections don't make their way into the next bill, states do have the power to enact rules of their own. For example, the state of Utah has already enacted a rule of their own which protects employers from being sued by their employees in relations to the virus. What are your thoughts on this issue? Do you believe that employers should be protected from being sued by their employees or customers in relations to this virus? Comment your thoughts on that below. In prior videos, I've also touched base on the tourism tax breaks. Now, Donald Trump has been the main one pushing this vacation tax credit, but there have been some other Republican senators that have also pushed this as well. For example, Arizona Senator Martha McSally recently wrote her own vacation tax credit bill, which included $8,000 in vacation tax credits over the next 2 years, as long as you were at least 50 miles away from your home and traveling domestically throughout the United States. Now, I'm not going to go into too much depth with that bill just because I've made several other videos on it, but it is something that we may be seeing in the next stimulus package. I've also seen that the general consensus on this idea is that it's a bad one, considering that most Americans are not going to have the money to be traveling during a pandemic. Okay, and just one more quick reminder, if you have any type of side hustle or a small business, there is something called the EIDL grant, which is going to give $1,000 per employee for anyone who has a side hustle or a small business up to 10 employees. So if you have 10 employees, for example, you would receive $10,000. If you do not have any employees, and maybe you just drive for Uber by yourself, then you would be the employee in that situation, so you would be eligible for $1,000. Now, this money is going to be running out very quickly. I will say that they are very, very quick in issuing these payments out once you do apply for the grant. If you are eligible, and if you have any hesitation whatsoever whether or not you would be eligible, just apply. The worst thing that can possibly happen is that they would just simply deny you and you would not be approved for the funds. And the best thing that could happen is that you would be approved and you would receive $1,000. So they're giving this money out, so you might as well take advantage of it. It doesn't have to be any type of large scale business. Maybe you're just selling on eBay with items around your house, or maybe you're just going to thrift stores and buying a few items each week. Again, you do not have to have any type of large scale business. So I will leave a link in the description box below that you can click on if you are interested in applying for this grant. And once again, this is a grant, it's not a loan, which means that you do not have to pay this money back. So I would strongly encourage each and every one of you guys to apply for this grant if you do have any type of side hustle or a small business. All right, so on that note, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this video by answering some of the comments and questions that I received in my previous video. And if you have any other comments or questions for me, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I do try to answer as many comments and questions as I possibly can. And those comments and questions that I'm not able to get to, I do try to pick some of the more popular ones to answer in my next video in video form. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and jump into the first comment of today's video. That comment is from James. James says, how is it that Congress approves, the President approves, but the Senate gets the final say? It is appearing that the Senate is more powerful than both other branches of the government, which shouldn't be possible. All right, thank you so much for that comment, James, and I really do have to agree with you. At least on the surface, it does seem that the Senate has more power here, or at least the Republicans do. Now, I will say that at the moment, the Republicans do own 2/3 of the power, being that Donald Trump is a Republican. The Senate is owned by the Republicans and the House is owned by the Democrats. So any bills or provisions that the Democrats want to pass, it's going to be much more difficult for them, because in order for their bill to pass, it's going to have to pass both the Senate, which is filled with Republicans for the most part, and then it's going to have to finally be approved by Donald Trump, again, a Republican. So for any bills that they're going to want to pass, it's going to have to be something that they know that the Republicans in the Senate and Donald Trump will also be approved of. So with that, we do have some checks and balances. Now, I will say that the Republicans are not going to be able to get their way 100% either, because if they try to pass a bill, then they're also going to have to try pushing it through the House as well. And if the House is completely opposed to the bill, they also have the power to reject the bill as well. So the Senate cannot just include Republican-filled policies. They also have to kind of find a middle ground, stuff that they find that the Democrats may like also. So with that said, even though it does seem like the Senate has a little bit more power, at least on the surface, any bill that they do try to pass will actually have to go through the House as well. So the Democrats also have a good bit of say as well. All right, moving right along to the next question of today's video is from Ken. Ken says, why is it at least it seems that expats are not receiving the stimulus? I have been on Social Security for 16 years and direct deposit to the same bank for 14 of those years. All right, thank you so much for that question, Ken, and I'm so sorry that it's taken such a long period of time for you to receive your stimulus check. I know it has to be incredibly frustrating. Now, the IRS recently released a date of July 24th, which should be the latest date in which you should receive your direct deposit if you do have a US-based bank. If you do not have a US-based bank, then unfortunately they're going to have to mail you the check, and they shouldn't be mailing you the check later than July 24th either, and I hope that it doesn't take much longer than a month to send out that check and for it to be delivered. Now, since they are going to be delivering a check internationally, it probably will take about a month, so I'm hoping it will get there no later than perhaps the end of August. All right, so on that note, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this video. If you did enjoy the content in this video and you'd like to see more videos like it, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. It is completely free to do so and it's a great support to me. Also, if you would like to receive one free stock from Robinhood valued all the way up to $500, please feel free to claim that stock by clicking the link in the description box below. And until next time, I'll see you guys and I hope you have a great day today.